Well, hello and welcome to our weekly look at Tiffin University football. It's Dragon Football Weekly. Hi, everybody. I'm Russ Snyder, voice of the Dragons. To my right, head coach of the 1-0 Tiffin University Dragons, Brett Ekkens. Coach, how are we doing today?
Doing great.
Doing
great.
Beautiful sunshiny day. We got a little, I don't know if it's that Indian summer they talk about, but we got a lot of warm days and a lot of sunshine, a lot of time to get your kids outside and get ready for a big week coming up.
Yeah, practice. The weather's been awesome. It's been an upbeat, energetic week of practice.
Well, you're 1-0 after the big road win. Doesn't matter where you go, a road win is a road win, and you go up to Detroit and take care of Wayne State last Thursday night, 34-7, your final score of the kids. Just give us a little brief recap of how you felt about your team's performance as a whole after that game.
Yeah, overall, I feel good about our team's performance. We've worked incredibly hard to become more consistent. There's still many things that we need to tighten up as we go throughout the year, and definitely some focuses from week one that we need to improve upon for week two. But overall, I feel great about our ability to prepare and go play a good Wayne State team on the road and handle business.
This was a nice crowd up there. A lot of Dragons showed up on the visitor side. Big home crowd on the home side. It was nice for your kids to be able to play in front of a nice big crowd in week one.
Yeah, I usually don't really know what the crowd looks like until the end of the game, and I turned around and our entire away side was filled. It was standing room only over there, and that means a lot to not just the student athletes, but us as coaches and our program in general. The support that we're getting, the fact that so many people drove up to watch us play, it was that meant a lot to us.
And they stayed there for the entire game, and some of the home folks were leaving a little bit early because the Dragons got a big 34-7 victory in that contest. Coach, just run through the scoring plays here. I want to touch on some of the individual stuff. The Dragons got it started earlier. Here's a name you're going to hear a couple times, as he was also the GMAC Special Teams Player of the Week. Ethan Holbrook, a 7-yard pass from Alex Johnson, a 16-play, 85-yard drive, taking 11 minutes, 12 seconds off the clock. Was not the Dragons' first drive. Another nice drive, just turned it over down in the red zone, but this time he finished it off with a touchdown and take a 7-0 lead at 11 minutes, 12 seconds off that clock.
Yeah, that was an important drive, methodical drive.
Yes, it was.
Longer than we probably anticipated it being. The first question I asked Zach Blair, our offensive coordinator, when we got off the drive was, how many plays was that? That seemed like a long time.
Yeah.
We always want to possess the football, and we certainly did that. It was great to see Ethan get the finish there and the touchdown. Alex did a great job all day. We protected well. So those were all good things to see. Ran the ball efficiently on that drive. And unlike the first drive that we had where we fumbled on the one, we maintained possession and finished. So that was really important.
The Dragons, that was in the second quarter. So the first quarter had finished 0-0. Dragons take a 7-0 lead. And then a young man who really proved himself as a freshman last year and looked strong again this year, Ben Rudolph, your place kicker, a 24-yard field goal after a 6-play, 34-yard drive, taking 2:24 off the clock to take a 10-0 lead.
Yeah, I think it was really important for us to get points on the board in that situation. You know, your mindset is always, as a head coach, what do you want to do in those scenarios? And we're glad that Ben went out there and picked up where he left off and did a great job with field goals and extra points all night.
I think your kicking game in general was pretty strong. Punting game, kickoffs, field goals, PATs, special teams, pretty strong.
Yeah, we've worked very hard in that regard, and we always want to keep improving that unit and all 6 of the special teams units. But we've put a massive emphasis on it throughout the off season and during and throughout camp.
Final 3.5 minutes of the first half, and the special teams played some humongous plays for you. Probably the play of the game, and probably the play that a lot of you have seen on the highlights from Flow Sports and everything, is Ethan Holbrook's 80-yard punt return, and he caught the punt on the Wayne State sideline right at the 20, and I had a great vantage point watching his toes because he caught it right near that sideline, and it had a little dubstep, or whatever you want to call it, to get it gathered, and he was able to stay off of the out of bounds line, took it all the way across the field. You could see the blocking line up, and boy, you had to be proud of not only Ethan, but the way the whole special teams group set that up for him to be able to be productive.
Yeah, it is something that we work on at length, and that's 11 people playing as one doing their job, and that play will be archived because not only did Ethan do his job, he secured the ball. I don't know how he stayed in bounds.
He's an athlete.
He told me he's been doing some yoga, and he did yoga that morning, and somebody was joking with him, and he said, I'm going to need it. And if the field width is 53 1/3, he used 53 yards there. But you can see he didn't step out of bounds and stayed in. And then the really impressive thing was, he finished and his effort was elite, but the effort there was multiple guys. Malik Baker threw a block at the catch point and then ran down and threw the touchdown winning block.
That's after playing defensive series.
After playing defensive series. Danny Mason did a great job with a high screen. I think we had 7 or 8 high screens on that, which is a technique we work and use specifically in scenarios where you might be out of position. So we were really excited and impressed with that play, and then we spent a lot of time going over that and as a demonstration of our culture on display the next day when we were watching film. So that was one that's near and dear to my heart. Coach O'Neill, our special teams coordinator, he was fired up. He's been doing a great job, but that is just it's a culmination of a lot of hard work.
Yeah, he gets the special team points. It gives you a whole lot better chance of bringing home the W. That is for sure. And then the Dragons able to, with a little help, I think, from your opponent, able to get the football back at the end of the first half, and able to put an extra field goal on the board, 26 yards in 20 seconds, and then Ben Rudolph a 30-yard field goal to finish out the half. So those extra points at the end of the half can be so huge, and no matter who you're playing. Yeah,
we were intending to go down and execute a 2-minute drill, which we began, and then our second turnover of the night, which was really disappointing that we didn't get a chance to work through that scenario. That occurred, so then we wanted to go in up 17-0 at half, and we were intending to do that. And when they went for it on fourth down, when we saw that, obviously the clock resets, and we had 2 timeouts at that point, I believe, and we had an opportunity to go get in field goal range, and Ben did a great job putting us up 20-0 at halftime.
Now, was that the play where you caused the fumble to get the football back, or was that Ezekwe caused the fumble, and then it was Gio Albanese jumped on top of it, right?
So Uzo did a great job on that play. We sacked the quarterback, so the ball's going to be ours in general, but anytime that we can take it away, that's something that we really stress, ball security and causing turnovers to occur. So we were fired up that happened, and then the mindset shifted to how do we get ourselves in range and not have to kick it too deep of a field goal. So took a couple plays to get down the field and put Ben in position for that field goal unit to run out there and take some more points.
Oh, that ball's loose on the ground. Gio's not thinking about first, second, third, fourth down. He's thinking about get on that football, right?
Yeah, he is, and that's something, again, it's all about situational football. In that case, get on the football and let the play be done. We're getting the ball back on turnover on downs anyway, but those opportunities the next day to sit there and really talk through what occurred and how can we learn from it, that was a great play that was made, and we were excited about all things that had to do with that fourth down.
Well, the third quarter, both teams kind of play a stalemate, and in the fourth quarter, Champion Edwards, a quarterback for Wayne State, who didn't start the game, but he really seemed like he got the offense rolling when he got a chance. He played pretty well, and he ended up having a 9-yard touchdown pass to number 12, Hickman, I think it was his last name. But, Champion didn't start the game. Last year, he was a bit of a problem for you guys here, but he came in and really turned the offense around for Wayne State, gave him a little bit of hope there in the second half.
Yeah, he's a great player and a great.
They announced him as a starter after the game too.
Yeah, he had a good game against us a year ago, and he did the same thing this past week. So he's one that we prepared for. We knew we'd see him in some capacity, and he did a great job leading them down the field on that drive. For us, we didn't love our third quarter. That's one of the things that we've got to improve upon. We're going to have to play a 60-minute ball game this week coming up. We weren't fired up about our third quarter offensively or defensively, specifically getting the ball coming out of halftime, having an opportunity to go down and extend that lead. We didn't do that. So kudos to them and their team for coming out of half ready to play.
Well, Wayne State gets the score early on in the fourth quarter, but then a young man gets a chance to redeem himself. Tyrese Bankstorn had the fumble on the goal line early. It's always good to get a chance for a young man when he has that adversity, give him a chance to basically do the same thing but succeed on a 3-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, we weren't worried about Tyrese at all, and he came back and had a good game and played very hard. And his leadership's been so important to us. He missed last year, and then coming back, his ability to find and secure that a role for himself. He's a hammer out there. He runs the ball hard, and we knew we'd come back to him, and he did a great job when his number was called.
Another long drive. The Dragons used 10 plays to go 65 yards on that one. And then the final drive, and scoring drive of the game, Ethan Holbrook, 11-yard pass from Alex Johnson to cap off the scoring, a 6-play, 70-yard drive. 3:19 off the clock, and the Dragons get on the bus with a 34-7 win.
Yeah, it was a great way to end the game, and certainly everybody pulling together to do their jobs there. Just a team victory, and opportunities to play situational football and play well off of one another. We're secured, and obviously that's the goal moving forward, is to continue to play great team football.
Yep, get better each and every week. Put a W behind you. Get ready for the next one. I thought your defensive line had a good game, including your ends, Chris Walton, Chris Artist, Hornbeak in the middle, Tueme and led you in tackles. But I thought all in all, your defensive line did a really good job of getting pressure on the quarterback, not letting them really get their running game going. But then the guys in the back end making the tackles like they always seem to do.
Yeah, I was really proud of our defense, the way that they played, and that's the unit everybody always talks about. 11 is one, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's got to fit their gap. Everybody's got to do their job, and I think it starts up front. We feel great about our defensive line, and those guys showed up. We got to the quarterback. We made them uncomfortable. We stopped the run. Jacob did his job. That's become he is a tackling machine, and he came and led the defense in tackles. Our defensive backs fit when they needed to fit. There was a couple TFLs from some of those guys, and Danny Mason had a heck of a game.
He was all over the place.
Yeah, and that's his hometown. He's born and raised in Detroit, and it was really, really great to see him go back home and play probably the best game we've seen him play since he's been here. So that was a lot of fun. Dennis Crawford got a chance to start, and he played really well. Another guy that's from the Detroit area. Mm-hmm. So it was great to see some of those guys get their opportunity and really play well.
Well, you ran the ball for 50 yards more than Wayne State did, for 132 in the game. You had 21 first downs to their 9, and really through the air as well. I mean, Alex, very efficient, 22 of 28, didn't turn it over through the air, 253, and he held them to 53 yards at 8 of 15. Put all that together, Tiffin 61 plays for 385, Wayne State 47 for 135. Sounds like a dominant performance when you look at just the numbers right there, but talk a little bit about, I guess, the running game first. You're able to hold them in check. They got some dangerous guys out there, but then be able to, Ronald goes for 88, but he still got 50 more rushing yards besides what Ronald gave you.
Yeah, I think the number one emphasis for us defensively, stop the run. Yeah. You have to stop the run, take away that phase of the game and make them one-dimensional, and we did that. And then for us offensively, it's the opposite. We've got to get the ground game going, and we feel like there's always opportunities to improve in that regard. Yeah. We feel great about it through camp, and Ron had a good first game. He's excited to go out and continue to get better. He's somebody who's incredibly driven. Our offensive line is in our opinion much improved from a year ago, and we're excited that they've made those improvements. So our mindset and emphasis is to continue to take what defenses give us offensively and go out and execute. Sometimes that's on the ground, sometimes that's through the air. And then defensively, we've got to force teams to be one-dimensional. Yeah. So feel good about those things.
Well, step up in competition for you this week, and a step up in competition for your opponents this week. You're taking on Ferris State this week. They went up and played at Lake Erie last week and got a big win. And now Tiffin going up there, another night game, military appreciation night up at Ferris State. And, before we dive into that, let's just talk real quick about I thought the conference had a really good week last week. Findlay got a big win over Indianapolis. Ashland goes to IUP and gets a win. Hillsdale went off to McHenry. That's not an easy trip to make. And then, Lake Erie taking on Ferris State besides our win. I thought the conference in all had a pretty good week last week.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. And you're always, when you're playing those out-of-conference games, we're always rooting for our conference. It was great to see Findlay with that win at home against Indy. It was great to see Ashland go on the road and into PA and get a big win. And it's always good to see our conference do well. So we were certainly checking scores, and with how regions work, everyone was rooting for each other, I think, this week.
You almost have to at this point of the year, especially when your game is on Thursday night. You get to relax a little bit on Saturday and watch some football. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about Ferris State. Everybody was highly decorated. Everybody knows that they've won 2 national championships in a row, 3 of the last 4, been in the playoffs 10 straight seasons. Dragons haven't played, I don't think it's been since 2017. I think it was the last time we played, and it was a 13-3 Ferris State win over the Dragons. But when you talk about really good football teams, like, we're building ourselves to be there as well. It all starts up front. It seems like Ferris State, from what I've read, maybe have one of their best offensive lines they've ever had.
Yeah, top to bottom, that's a complete team. Yep. We know that. They've done a great job, not just in coaching, but in recruiting, and they've got our utmost respect. We're excited to go and play, and it starts off with them up front. They've got a great offensive and defensive line, and we're going to have to be ready to go play.
that is where it's all going to come down. I mean, it's like that in every single football game. When you put two good football teams together, whoever controls that line of scrimmage is going to have the upper hand, at least have the opportunity to have the upper hand. It seems like everything Ferris State does is with their quarterback, Wyatt Bauer, whether it's on the ground or through the air. He seems like he's a handful.
Yeah, Wyatt's a great player and really seems to be coming into his own there. And, he's a guy that I got to see play in high school, and I know he was a big-time recruit for them and for the whole state coming out of high school. So he's a great player. His twin brother's a great player too, and they've got great players all over the field. But really, he fits in there and does his job, and he's demonstrating that he's going to continue to be a great quarterback for them.
Well, the way our linebackers and our secondary tackles, if our defensive line can just stalemate their offensive line, I just have a feeling our guys are going to be able to make those tackles. It's going to be a lot of fun to see our strengths against their strengths up there this weekend. And I'm sure that your kids are just excited and chomping at the bit for the opportunity that's in front of them.
Yeah, the crucial thing for us is it's about our process, and it's about making sure we're watching the film and we're studying our opponent, and we're trying to see how do we want to attack our opponent every week. But it's keeping our process, and it's keeping our mindset on the things that we need to do in our standards, and certainly giving respect to our opponent and in our study. But we're focused on what we need to do and how we need to go about our week in preparation. So those things don't change.
Right.
Yes, it's a great opportunity to go play the top team in the country, and we're acknowledging that, and they've earned that. That's something that they've earned. So we're excited for that opportunity. We're excited to go out and put our process to the test.
Let me ask you this one. Now, look back at the game at Wayne State. Is there any players that maybe stood out on game day that a little bit more than you were expecting? Like somebody really surprised, like, oh my gosh, that kid's a gamer. Or was it just the way everybody came together, that 11 for 1?
Yeah, I think for us, we saw plays being made in camp.
Okay.
There wasn't a guy that surprised. I wasn't surprised by the success of any of the guys on our team this last week. And honestly, when we have having the team that we have, we had competitive practices throughout the entirety of camp. So it was giving opportunities throughout that time for us to evaluate who needed to be where, and for us, it was a lot of fun seeing that happen and letting other people see what we've been seeing. So
that's more what it is.
There wasn't a shock. The guys that we asked to step up and make plays did, and that was fun to see. And honestly, moving forward, that's what it's going to take.
Yeah.
When your number's called, you've got to be ready to make the play, and you've got to be willing to do the thing that we're asking of you to do. And it doesn't require some superhuman ability. It requires consistency, and again, being prepared when your number is called.
Another night game, 6 o'clock start as we go up to Big Rapids this weekend. You've been there plenty of times as a coach, I'm sure. I've been there before as a broadcaster. It's a fun place to go up and work, and I'm really looking forward to it. As I said, it is Military Appreciation Night up at Ferris State this coming weekend. I think it's still a 6 o'clock kick. I don't think it's 6:07. Things were a little weird up at Wayne State with start times and everything, but we got through it and we had ourselves a lot of fun. So, Coach, just give us some of those adjectives about the folks are going to see about your kids this coming Saturday night.
Yeah, they're going to see a team that's inspired to play together. You're going to see us continue to lean into that joy that we share as a team. When the defense is out there, the offense and the special teams are going to be rooting them on and have their back, and the same thing's going to go when the offense or the special teams is out there. So we're really excited to get up there and excited about the opportunity to go compete with the team that's ranked number 1 in the nation.
Yep.
So our emphasis is about our process and staying locked into the things that we can control, and we're going to do that. But we know that the field's going to be rocking, and the stadium's going to be, the energy's going to be great.
We have a marching band back for the first time in a long time, so that's kind of fun too. I love the band at the atmosphere of a college football game.
I think for our guys, it's all about having. They want to play in games that are as competitive as this one's going to be. They want to go out and they want the moment to go compete at the highest level. So we're fired up for that, and we're excited to go play a team that's well coached with tons of athletes and guys that are playmakers, and we're excited to see our guys go out and have the opportunity to demonstrate that they're great players.
Well, I'm fired up for it too, Coach. Looking forward to it. Ferris State will have the video coverage. It'll be on Flow College. I'll have the radio coverage for you on the TU Dragon Football Radio Network, WTUD and WTTF right here in Tiffin. Coach, anything else before we let you get back to your preparation for Ferris State?
No, anybody who can come out and support the Dragons, and we need to fill up that away side, and we're excited to see you in October at one of our home games. So keep supporting us while we're on the road, and come out this weekend.
He's Brett Ekkens, head coach of the Tiffin University Dragon Football Club. I'm Russell Snyder, voice of the Dragons. Catch us this Saturday night, 6 o'clock kickoff up at Big Rapids as the Dragons go on the road to Ferris State. Till next week, this has been Dragon Football Weekly.